What is up, CMS Braves? It is Monday, October 5th, and welcome back to another edition of the 14th Colony Vodcast, the game day edition of the 14th Colony Vodcast. Go Chiefs playing tonight. Also, Go Pack Go. Two of my favorite teams playing tonight, so it can't be all that bad of a Monday, huh? I'm joined as always by Mr. Congleton. Mr. Congleton, how was your weekend?
Oh, pretty good weekend. I went camping, so no heat. It was pretty chilly out there. Getting kind of used to what it would have been like living back in the olden days, like what we're reading about now. Those people that were settling the colonies, man, I don't know how they did it. It gets pretty cold out there.
We were spoiled. It's pretty nice. But so, yeah, we're talking about the colonists today and some of the reasons that, last week we did the domino effect of what led to the Revolutionary War. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that stuff today. And so you guys are going to be doing some readings today about no taxation without representation. And basically what that meant was these colonists really didn't like being taxed. They didn't like, the king over in England having his hand in their pockets, essentially, and they had no say in what was going on. And John Hancock, you guys know who John Hancock is. He's the guy that signed his name super huge on the Declaration of Independence. He was a super big, interesting personality. Mr. Congleton's got a really fun story about Mr. John Hancock that's I think you guys will like.
John Hancock, these guys were like the rappers of their day, right? They had as much bling as you could think. So John Hancock, he had like a golden chariot that he would come into town in. And these founding fathers, a lot of them were super wealthy. And of course, if you have a lot of money, you do not want to get rid of that money and pay those kind of elaborate taxes. The taxes, though, were put in place because the colonies had to, pitch in for the war, the French and Indian War. So King George III, he's over there in England, across the ocean. He's like, wait a minute. I used my military. I helped you guys survive the French attacks, and now you have all this land that you can do what you want with, and you got to pay your fair share. A lot of these founding fathers, they were loaded, right? They had a lot of money in shipping and different trading and things like that, and so they didn't want to pay for those type of things. But the main thing they were upset about, despite paying the taxes, was not having representation in the parliament. They weren't able to vote on those taxes. They had no say in it. All of a sudden, a tax collector from England would show up with a document. He'd unscroll it and say, you guys owe us this kind of money. And they're like, wait a minute, where's this coming from? So a lot of that was like not very good communication and no part in what those laws were going to be.
And that is what I think you can draw parallels between today and back then when you say, well, wait a second, hold the phone. We get taxed more now than the colonists ever did. And yet we still just kind of go, okay, well, I'll pay my taxes. And a lot of the reasons for that I think it's an easier pill to swallow is because we do have representation. You can go vote for your state representatives. You can go vote and decide who represents you in government to basically to make these taxes and these bills and stuff. And that is your right as an American citizen to vote. So that is the one, I think, stark difference between today and back then. But you guys will read all about that today. It's super interesting stuff. We'll have more discussions about that as we go forward. Mr. Congleton, I think we're going to put in the poster blast grades today. So we're going to see, that was from a bit ago, but those are going to go in today. So if you have not gotten that poster blast in yet, which a lot of you still have not, which is kind of why we're holding the reins on that. Get that in, guys. We don't like it when we have 30 kids with Fs because they just didn't turn something in. So that one's going in the grade book. Make sure you get that done if you have not.
There's going to be a second poster blast this Wednesday. So part 2 of that episode is going to go on Wednesday. So you need to make sure you see part 1 so you know what's going on.
And then with the readings, guys, make sure you're getting those slides, the questions answered on those, because those will be going for a grade as well. Just in the spirit of full transparency, those are the 2 grades that are going to be going in here soon. Okay, so make sure you are getting those 2 things done. I know it can be very overwhelming with all this stuff coming from all different directions. You got 8 math assignments, 6 ELA assignments, 17 social studies assignments. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on, so we're giving you guys a heads up and just letting you know, like, those are the 2 things that are going in the gray book. So make sure above all else you're getting those things done. All right, turn them into the correct spot as well. That helps us out a lot. Mr. Congleton, anything else?
I think that's it. Just stay on top of your work, breathe, drink water.
That's right. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us as always, and be excellent to each other.